Okay, this is everything to do with keeping energy to your batteries. So we're going to be talking Anderson plugs, leads, and solar blankets. And in no way am I even an electrician, let alone a solar electrician. So anybody out there wanting to correct me on anything, please feel free. I'm always willing to learn something. And what got me started on this path is when I actually started pricing Anderson plugs onto leads. So sit back, grab yourself a cup of tea, and watch how some mug does it. We bought our camper trailer, at least a year ago, probably a year, well, more than a year. It's the only thing we've ever had apart from a tent many years ago. So we were excited, packed it up, and off we went. We started camping. And we learned real fast about everything. It was a pretty steep learning curve. But one of them was solar. It came with a solar blanket and I think it was a 5 or 6 meter lead, and plugged that in, and as long as there was sunshine, it was fantastic. It kept the batteries topped up. The minute it got cloudy, if it was overcast, in the sun moving, you're in the shade, we found that we started trying to chase where the sunny spots were. You can't move your camper trailer once it's set up, so that became quite a bit of a hassle. Now, I know that this has been done probably a million times over, but you know, to each their own. We all learn at different times. So the idea was to, at some point, get a lead. Long story short, I started searching for leads, and they're not cheap. I was in a shop, and for a 5 meter lead was $81, and I was looking for a 10 meter lead. They come in 10 meters, and I was looking at another shop, and it was $132 for 10 meters. My God. Anyway, long story short, I got this 12 meter cable. I think it's 4 millimeter cable. I already had the Anderson plugs. I bought a pack of, I think 10 or 12. And I got that because someone on one of the Facebook groups, they said you can't, don't, make sure you never run short of Anderson plugs. Being a newbie, I said, okay, well, I mean, they're fairly cheap. They're, I don't know, they're $3, $4, $5 each. So a friend of mine, which is an electrician, sold me this cable, and I got the cable 12 meters for $24. So basically I bought a 12 meter setup for just over $30. And look, I gotta tell you, this worked an absolute treat. Bee's knees right there. It was a game changer, day and night difference. We were parked up in a place, ladies' well, last week, and trees all over the place. We're under the trees, and I took this up with me, and I built it right then and there the next morning. These are the tools I used: a wire stripper, wire cutters, and a crimper. What I don't show in here is a screwdriver, which you will also need. I only learned that because I had to find a screwdriver to try and actually set the terminals into the plugs themselves. Now, I think that most blankets will come with a charge controller, and as you can see here, it makes it pretty idiot proof. One side shows exactly what goes to the battery, and the other side goes to the solar blanket. Now I've just fed this line from inside through here, just so I don't have to go having a cord inside the camper van. Now the main problem we've had, you're fine if you're out in the middle of a desert or where there's no trees, you're going to get plenty of sunshine. But there's just nothing but trees here, so we just get dappled sunshine, and it's going to move around constantly. With the solar blanket we've got, I think it's got a 5 or 6 meter cable. That's it. So you can't really follow the sun around. So I priced them, the 10 meter cables are well over $100. I said, I'm not paying that for a piece of cable and 2 Anderson plugs. So I've brought some cable with me. I've always got spare Anderson plugs now. So we're just going to make up a 12 meter cable, so we can actually kind of, more conveniently follow the sun. chasing the sun. We still had to chase the sun, but now we didn't run out of sun. We could go almost anywhere because this was also plugged into a 6-meter lead that came with the blanket. Man, you should have seen, we were over there. We were over there. So you can see that's from the other side of the caravan. That I can probably get maybe 1 more meter out of that, but that's as far as it would go. But check this out. So our extra 12 meters of lead is working tremendously well. And now we can follow the sun because we're in complete shade over there. Earlier this morning I had that blanket on the other side. There was a bit of sun there. But all these trees up here now are just blocked it all off. So $24 for the cable. I think $4 each for the Anderson plugs. Works an absolute treat. This thing, which, like I said, it's an absolute game changer. Our batteries now keep topped up no matter what. Well, unless there's cloud. Beforehand, we got into, I don't know, energy saving mode. We would turn the chest refrigerator off at night because we knew we weren't going to open it. And that helped, but it's not ideal. It's certainly not ideal. Now, those of you that maybe don't know anything about Anderson plugs, like I did just over a year ago, I knew nothing about Anderson. I didn't even know what an Anderson plug was. It's just a little plastic box and it comes with 2 terminals that you crimp on the wire to, and you put them inside these plastic boxes. You see, I'm not an electrician, but there are some certain things that you have to get right, and they're both male and female. So in one way they look exactly the same, but if you switch one over, that's the positive, that's the positive, that's the negative, that's the negative underneath. It's a connection. So it's both male and female, I guess. The first thing you need is some tools. You need a crimping tool. Stripping the wires, I had a wire stripper, but you can use a Stanley knife, or even just a Stanley blade. You know, be careful with it, and as long as you can get the plastic off, it'll work. In my case, there's no sheath over this, which I would prefer, but it doesn't have a sheath, so you got to move a bit more sheath than actually the plastic on the wire itself. Okay, so this is how easy it is from start to finish. First, strip the wires. I doubled mine over so that they would actually fit in the terminals better when they are crimped. Make sure that when you do crimp them, they're both facing the same direction. Notice here, the red wire is on the positive side, or the active on the positive side. You can see these 2 little bars. The terminals actually hook just over these, and that's why you need the screwdriver to